And tonight's theme is the need for community, which I think is a particularly poignant theme at this time when some of us are craving forms of community that we can't have, and yet we're also finding new kinds of community that we didn't yet dream of. And the talk is basically taken from my book, Centering Prayer for Everyone. So I'll give that just before the centering prayer. And the other thing I wanted to mention is we had a little conversation last night at the end of the group about the prayer at the end. And some people said they wanted to try having just the leader say the prayer because they didn't like the crazy cacophony of us all saying it all out of sync together. I know some people like that part and some people don't like that part. So we'll try it and then we'll check in and you can let me know which you prefer. I kind of like the crazy cacophony because I've gotten used to it, but it is strange. So I'm open to your thoughts on that. Lord, how beautiful you are, how radiant the places you dwell in. My soul yearns for your presence. My whole body longs for your light. Even the wren finds a house, and the sparrow a nest for herself. Take me home, Lord, guide me to the place of perfect repose. Let me feel you always within me. Open my eyes to your love. Welcome to this digital contemplative prayer group. This is a place for all God's people. Whatever your beliefs or doubts, you are welcome here. If you are new to centering prayer, just follow the instructions as the session unfolds. You're also welcome to use the silence in any other way that is right for you. Loving God, we ask for your blessings upon this gathering, recognizing that we bring the joys and sorrows of our lives here. If anyone would like to mention, silently or aloud, prayers of gratitude or concern for loved ones, the dead or dying, the vulnerable and suffering, or anyone who is facing a special challenge, please do so now.
My nephew Robert and his wife Jennifer.
Domestic abuse victims.
Those struggling with addiction.
All healthcare workers.
God, we trust that you hear our prayers, silent or spoken, wordless or in words. So I'm just going to talk very briefly about the need for community. When I work with people in spiritual direction, they are often people who don't have any particular tradition that they're associated with, or they're not sure where they fit in with the tradition. And I've never tried to push anybody towards anything. We listen for what's coming up from them, from within. But I've always felt that there were two things that I call the spiritual essentials that everybody needs. which are some kind of practice. It doesn't have to even be a very established practice. It can be something that you come to very intuitively. And all of us here tonight have that. We have centering prayer as well as probably other practices. And then everyone needs some form of community in order to grow in contemplative maturity. And right now we have a very particular relationship to community as we self-isolate and try to find new ways to connect with each other. So we may appreciate its value even more than we usually do. And so now might be a good moment to just reflect on what kind of community might best nourish us. And some of us may have more time to do that these days than we usually do. Community sometimes suggests to people a large institutional community, and sometimes people resist the idea of community because they don't feel comfortable with that kind of community. But some people are able to develop very rich spiritual lives just by meeting regularly with a few people. And Jesus promised us that when 2 or 3 are gathered together in his name, he is there. So a community can just start with 1 or 2 other people. It can consist of a few trusted spiritual friends. But it is important to be meeting and speaking regularly with others who share at least some of your beliefs and practices. Sometimes we don't even know what we feel and believe until we have the opportunity to speak aloud what is coming up from within us. So as we struggle to figure out how to live from our beliefs and practices, it's very helpful for us to have feedbacks from others to help us stay on track and to challenge us in constructive ways. It's easy to become misguided or to imagine that we're developing a great deal spiritually when really not that much is happening. So talking about our beliefs and practices with others can help us to hear ourselves clearly, to work out our thoughts more thoroughly, as well as to feel supported at difficult times. So I'm just going to ask a number of questions about community and your relationship with community, what you might need in terms of community. And I just invite you to listen to those questions in a very open, soft, reflective way, kind of like you might listen to a Lectio Divina reading. You don't need to answer the questions, just let them touch you. Do you have the companionship that you need to support yourself and keep you on your spiritual path? Who will challenge you and be honest with you, as well as encourage and affirm you? Who will see who you are and who you are in the process of becoming? Who knows your bad habits, but also your potential? Who nourishes you with their presence? Who gives you an opportunity to speak your truth? If you are not currently in a meaningful community, ask yourself if there is a church, temple, meditation center, or recovery group that has been calling to you. Perhaps you are already a member of a community, but are uncomfortable there, or standing on the sidelines and needing to take a step to become more deeply involved in the way that is right for you. Is there a person or persons in your life who might be able to help you answer the questions you have about your spirituality and contemplative practice? If you already have a trusted friend of this kind, do you need to make an appointment to meet more regularly? If you live in an area where you're not meeting any like-minded people, can you find a digital community or class? Is there spiritual direction available to you, either individually or in groups? Who can help you to listen to God's voice? And how can you make such people a more regular part of your life? How can you move from the occasional, unexpected encounter with the holy into a community where you regularly feel connected with God and with those around you? So now we turn to our 20-minute period of centering prayer. I invite you to take your posture, sitting with your back straight and your feet flat on the ground or in another stable position. Gently close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths and notice if there are any adjustments you'd like to make to be comfortable for the prayer period. Is there any tension you could let go of? Give yourself a little wiggle or a shake. And just take a moment to notice who God is for you right now, whatever that might mean. A sense of mystery, a sense of gratitude, a presence or an absence, a sense of community, a sense of longing. Renew your commitment to be open and present to the divine, whatever that means to you. Silently begin to repeat your sacred symbol, your sacred word, or touch your breath gently with your attention, using your sacred symbol to orient yourself towards God. And during the prayer period, whenever you notice you've become engaged with your thoughts, you can gently disengage yourself, returning to the sacred symbol if necessary. Loving God, deepen our longing for you. Tonight's Lectio Divina reading is a passage from Anam Cara, a book of Celtic wisdom by John O'Donohue. I'll read it 3 times, and then I'll invite you to share a word or phrase from the passage that resonated for you. The Buddhist tradition has a lovely concept of friendship, the notion of the Kalyana Mitra, the noble friend. Your Kalyana Mitra, your noble friend, will not accept pretension, but will gently and very firmly confront you with your own blindness. No one can see his life totally. As there is a blind spot in the retina of the human eye, there is also in the soul a blind side where you are not able to see. Therefore, you must depend on the one you love to see for you what you cannot see for yourself. Your Kalyana Mitra complements your vision in a kind and critical way. Such friendship is creative and critical. It is willing to negotiate awkward and uneven territories of contradiction and woundedness. The Buddhist tradition has a lovely concept of friendship, the notion of the Kalyana Mitra, the noble friend. Your Kalyana Mitra, your noble friend, will not accept pretension, but will gently and very firmly confront you with your own blindness. No one can see his life totally. As there is a blind spot in the retina of the human eye, there is also in the soul a blind side where you are not able to see. Therefore, you must depend on the one you love to see for you what you cannot see for yourself. Your Kalyana Mitra complements your vision in a kind and critical way. Such friendship is creative and critical. It is willing to negotiate awkward and uneven territories of contradiction and woundedness. The Buddhist tradition has a lovely concept of friendship. The notion of the Kalyana Mitra, the noble friend. Your Kalyana Mitra, your noble friend, will not accept pretension, but will gently and very firmly confront you with your own blindness. No one can see his life totally. As there is a blind spot in the retina of the human eye, there is also in the soul a blind side where you are not able to see. Therefore, you must depend on the one you love to see for you what you cannot see for yourself. Your Kalyana Mitra complements your vision in a kind and critical way. Such friendship is creative and critical. It is willing to negotiate awkward and uneven territories of contradiction and woundedness. I invite you to offer a word or phrase that resonated for you.
Own blindness.
Blind spot.
What you
Kind and critical.
what you cannot see for yourself.
Contradiction.
Noble friend.
Kind and critical.
See for you.
Firmly.
Kind and critical friendship.
Gentle yet firmly.
Kind and critical. Let's conclude with the night prayer, but as I mentioned, we'll try an experiment where I say it by myself and we'll see how we feel about that. Lord, it is night.
It's night.
The night is for
Night is for
stillness.
stillness.
Let us be
Let's be
still
still
in the presence of
of
God.
God.
It is night after a long day. What has been done has been done. What has not been done has not been done. Let it be. The night is dark. Let our fears of the darkness of the world and of our own lives rest in you. The night is quiet. Let the quietness of your peace enfold us, all dear to us, and all who have no peace. The night heralds the dawn. Let us look expectantly to a new day, new joys, new possibilities. In your name we pray. Amen.
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 Now, one thing I forgot to mention is we discussed last night when we considered me or whoever's leading to read the prayer by themselves, that you could mute yourself and say it along with it muted so that you could hear more than one voice, but they would be more in sync. So that's an option. How are people feeling about having it read by the leader rather than having it read by everybody?
I liked it because I could hear all the words.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
I
liked
like
it too. I liked it too. Yeah. Yeah.
I liked it too.
It was nice.
I thought it made more sense.
I think
It was
it's
It
true.
was less distracting.
Sorry?
Less distracting.
Okay. I
Yeah,
do
I th-
kind of miss the crazy jumble of voices, but it does make more
Yeah.
sense in a way.
Yeah, I think
That
it's
was
good.
a
I think
good,
what,
that was a,
I think what you said, to mute ourselves, but to say it out loud with you.
Yes.
That was
Yeah.
helpful, yeah.
Okay, well, what I can do if we continue this in this way is I can mute everybody with the single button, which is very simple for me to do. Say it and then unmute you again.
Works.
So we'll
thanks,
be,
Lindsay.
you're very welcome. Thank you all.
Thank
Have a
you.
good week.
Be with you again, and I'll see some of you on Sunday night at the book reading.
Oh, right.
Right. Thank you for continuing this group.
Good night.
My pleasure.
Good night.
all.
Thank
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a blessed
Thank you. Bye-bye.
night.
Night.
Bye.
Good night. Good night.
Night.
Bye.
Thank you.
Night.
You're very welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you
You're
for doing
very
this.
welcome. You're welcome, Mark. Thanks for being here. Oh, David, don't forget to send me last night's reading.
Okay, yes, I just remembered that, so I'll do it.
Okay, thanks.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.